Hello, sixth graders. We are on our integers unit, unit 6. Our video today is on subtracting integers. Our learning target is I can subtract integers. Okay, there's just a question here for you to think about. You don't have to write this down, but how could you write a subtraction expression to represent this number line image where we've got some stuff happening? How could you represent that? So looking down here, if we took 6 minus 7, we would end up at -1. However, if we took 6 plus a -7, 7 and -7 being opposites, we would also end up at -1. So we end up with the same result if we add the opposite. So write this part down here, subtracting integers. To subtract an integer, add its opposite. Okay, so an example here, if we have 4 minus 9, we turn the subtraction into an addition, and then we make the 9 a negative, so it's the opposite. And then we know how to add integers because we practiced that in class and we already watched that video. So it equals -5. The next one, 7 minus -10, so change the subtraction to addition, make the -10 the opposite, and then we know how to add from there. So for all of the problems, we're going to turn them into addition, and then we're going to take the opposite of the second number and then follow our addition rules. So we have 8 minus 13. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the subtraction a positive. So now we're adding, and in order to do that, we have to do the opposite. So the 13 is a positive, so we're going to turn it into a -13. Well, we now know how to subtract if the signs are different, to add. If the signs are different, then we subtract. Well, 13 minus 8 is 5. We have more negatives, so our answer is a -5. So change it to addition, change the sign of the second number to be the opposite, and then you add. So if we have -10 minus 7, change it to addition, change the sign of the second number. Since it was a +7, we're going to make it into a -7, and now we add. Since the signs are the same, we just add like normal. 10 plus 7 is 17, and then they're both negative, so our answer is a -17. Okay, so here are the steps. Change subtraction to be addition. Change sign of second number, and then you add. Oops. Okay. So following those steps, try these 3 problems on your own. All right, so we have 6 minus 12. Well, change it to be addition. Change the sign of the second number. Since it was a +12, we're making it a -12. Now, since the signs are opposite, we need to subtract. 12 minus 6 is 6. We have more negatives, so our answer is a -6. The next one, -20 minus 15. Change it to addition. Make the sign opposite. Since it was a +15, make it a -15. -20 minus -15. Since both of them are negative, you add them together. 20 plus 15 is 35. Both of them are negative, so our answer is negative. -22 minus 26. Change it to addition. Change the sign of the second number. Since it's a +26, you make it a -26. And now they're both negative, so we add them together. 22 plus 26 is 48. Both of them are negative, so our answer is negative. The adding part, I'm just following the rules from our adding integers video. All right, subtracting negative integers, same thing. Make it addition. Change sign of second number. and then you add. Okay. So let's do these two together, and then you can try the next ones on your own. So 1 minus negative 2. So you change the subtraction to addition. Change the sign of the second number. Since it's a subtraction, or a negative 2, we make it into a positive 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Next one, we change to addition. Change the sign of the second number. Since it was a negative 7, we make it into a positive 7. So now we have a negative 10 plus 7 if we want to rewrite it. A negative and a positive, we have to subtract. So 10 minus 7 would be 3. We have 10 negatives, 7 positives, so we have more negatives, so our answer needs to be a negative 3. There's a rule when we have the minus like this, a minus a negative. Something that you can remember is to chop chop. What I mean by that is you chop the subtraction to be addition and you chop the negative to be a positive. Chop chop. So then it's adding. Okay? Try these next three on your own and then come back and check. 4 minus negative 12. Well, change to addition. Change the sign of the second number from negative to positive. Now 4 plus 12 is 16. Negative 15 minus a negative 5. Change subtraction to addition. Make the negative 5 into a positive 5 because we take the opposite sign. Now we have a negative 15 plus 5. Since the signs are opposite, we subtract. 15 minus 5 is 10. We have more negatives, so our answer is negative. And I know I have more because 15 is bigger than 5. 18 minus negative 6. Change the subtraction to be addition. Make the negative into a positive. 18 plus 6 would be 24. Okay. Follow the same rules every time to make it an addition problem. All right, evaluate the expression. Well, so we are going to plug numbers into this problem, x minus 6. So x is telling us that it's negative 6 minus y. Y is negative 5. Now the reason that we have these parentheses around the negative is just to help to keep it separate from the subtraction problem, or from the subtraction sign. Otherwise, that's the only reason they're there. Make sure that you do not mistake them for the absolute value bars. These are different. They are not the same. All right, so we have a subtraction problem here, so we got to change it to addition. Change the sign of the second number. Since it was negative, we make it into a positive. Now negative 6 plus 5. Signs are different, so we subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. We have more negatives, so our answer is a negative 1. Next one, I want you to try these three on your own, so pause, try them, and then come back and watch. Evaluate each expression if a equals 5, b equals negative 8, and c equals negative 9. So we have b minus 10, so we're going to plug negative 8 minus 10. Now we follow our rules. Since it is a subtraction problem, we make it into addition. And we change the sign of the second number. Since it's a positive 10, we make it a negative 10. Negative 8 plus negative 10 is a negative 18. Okay. Like I had said on that last one about the chop chop, if you have something like this last one where it's a positive minus a negative, I call that chop minus, because you're going to chop the subtraction into addition, and you add a minus in front of the second number. Chop minus. So you have chop chop, and you have chop minus. All right, a minus b. Well, a is 5. B is negative 8, and you are subtracting a negative 8. Change the subtraction into addition. Make the negative into a positive. 5 plus 8 is 13. Next one, c minus a. C is negative 9 minus a, which is 5. In order to subtract these, we change the subtraction to addition. Change the positive 5 into a negative 5. Now, since both of them are negative, we just add. 9 plus 5 is 14. Since both numbers are negative, our answer is negative. So we're just plugging in numbers and then following the same rules. Okay, a couple word problems here that we're going to go through. The first one, the temperatures on the moon vary from negative 173 degrees Celsius to 127 degrees Celsius. Find the difference. So that tells me subtract between the maximum and minimum temperatures. So since it says maximum first, that's the number that comes first, 127. Since we're doing difference, we're subtracting. Minimum is then second, which is a negative 173. All right, let's subtract integers. In order to do that, we make the subtraction into addition. Make the negative a positive, so we chop, chop. Now we're going to add these two together, 127 and 173, 10, 10, 3. So that means that there's a difference between the max and minimum temperatures on the moon of 300 degrees Celsius. Include labels since they're word problems. Next one, the Dead Sea's deepest part is 799 meters. I'm going to underline that. That seems important. Below sea level. A plateau to the east of the Dead Sea rises to about 1,340 meters above sea level. What is the difference between the top of that plateau and the deepest part of the sea? So if the plateau is above sea level, I know that that's positive. So it's a positive 1,340. And we're looking for the difference, so we're subtracting. And then we're looking for the deepest part of the Dead Sea, which the deepest part is 799 meters below. Since we are looking below, that means it's a negative 799. Okay. Now, in order to subtract for this one, I'm going to chop, chop. So I make it addition, change the negative to be a positive. So now I'm adding 1340 and 799. 0 plus 9, 9 plus 4, that would be 10, 11, 2. So the difference between them is 2,139 meters. Okay, so difference, subtract, and then just depending on how the question is read, top to bottom. Okay, key things that you need to know. You need to have this written down in your notebook for subtracting integers. You always leave the first number alone. You never ever change the first number. Change the subtraction. So let's make an example of 5 minus 7. So we're trying to subtract more than what we have. So leave the first number alone. Change the subtraction sign to addition. And change the sign of the second number. And then use adding our addition rules. Okay? And then these reminders here for you, the chop chop, we use for two subtraction signs. So that's if it is a minus minus, so 10 minus a negative 3. Chop minus for a subtraction sign and a positive number. So that would be 4, 6 minus 12. Then you would do chop minus. So just some things to remember. Make sure you've got that written down in your notebook. If you are still stuck, just go back and re-watch the video. You don't need to do the examples again, but just listening and following along will be very helpful. Come with questions for our warm-up tomorrow in class.